everybody. Welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live with me, your host and international award winning Make Every Second Count speaker. Now, I am so excited about tonight. Now, if you give me just a second here, I've got to make it where everybody can comment on this post. I wish Facebook would let me do this ahead of time, but it won't. And so, guys, I ask you if you would please share this out with at least 3 people. I would appreciate that so we can get the crowd a popping. Don't be afraid to ask as many questions as you would like, because I know you're going to have some questions tonight. I promise you that. Questions. Oh, darn it. Like. Come on. I can't figure this out. Who can comment on this post? All right, public. Here we go. All right, now I'll go back. All right, now with no further ado, I would like to bring up the resilience and encouragement speaker, Jamie R. Wright. Hey, Jamie.
Hi, Jeff.
How are you doing tonight?
I am doing magical. Yeah, thank you for asking.
You know, it is fantastic to have you on here this evening. I'm so excited to hear what you have to tell us about your journey to the top that started with a loop in 2020, if I am correct. So I have to say, first of all, that I happen to know that people are often thrown for loops, and it the loops aren't fun. Life can have its challenges, but you're going to make it through, because let me tell you one thing right now, guys, and please put this in the comments, because I believe this is something that everybody needs to hear. So you have never been through something you didn't live through. Now I'll say it again because you might have missed it, but you have never been through a single thing that you didn't make it through. So just hold on in there. I guarantee this is going to pass. You're stronger than you believe. You just need to figure some things out, and that's going to happen. You have to believe that is going to happen. So, on tonight's show, we're going to be talking to Jamie R. Wright here about her story of domestic violence in 2020, right?
Right, Jeff. Yes.
And how exactly did that start?
Well, first, thank you for having me on your platform.
Not a problem. Thank you for being here.
Anytime I can get any man, quote unquote, that's in the movement to just raise awareness of domestic violence, I'm always so incredibly grateful. So thank you. So yeah, a little bit about my story. And in 2020, make a super long story short. Sorry, I became homeless as a result of domestic violence. I moved from the Dallas Fort Worth area to Houston in February of 2020, not knowing anyone other than my hairstylist. Actually, thought I was going to live this amazing life with this amazing man, and we are going to do amazing things. And finally, live the life, despite being 13 years old and pregnant, and the childhood trauma that I'd gone through, and being sexually mishandled, and growing up in a domestic violence situation, and battling depression, and suicidal, ideations. I finally was going to live this life, Jeff, this amazing life, right? So when my ex and I exchanged vows, I moved here, like I said, I'm in the here is in the Houston area. And by April of 2020, I was homeless, hopeless, broke, confused, and broken. And I sought shelter at a local women's homeless shelter here for domestic violence survivors and sexual assault survivors called the Houston Area Women's Center. Never in a million years, Jeff, but I thought that I'd be homeless, but that was me.
Man, that is crazy. So there's something in that I want to pull out. Now, you said that you never expected that this would be you. So what I'm saying is a lot of people start in different ways. I mean, we could have had a great childhood. We could have had a poor childhood. And you said you were what, molested, and you suffered abuse, and anything else that I'm missing?
No, you nailed it. You're totally present in the conversation. Absolutely.
All right, cool. Well, not cool, but I'm glad that I was present in the conversation. So people can start in many different ways, but our past. Oh wait, time out. You guys need to put this in the comments too, because this is another important thing. So how we start doesn't determine our future. Now, again, I'm going to say it again because I don't want anybody to miss it. How we start doesn't control anything about how we finish. It's just like a race, and life is often like a marathon. But we have to run and keep running, and it's going to get painful. But you're just going to have to deal with that for a little while. You're just going to have to fight through that pain so you can reach that finish line. And the finish line is the happiness that I preach so much about, the joy in your heart. So how exactly did you well, how exactly did you deal with becoming homeless?
Beautiful question, Jeff. At first, it was definitely um, heavy. However, with lots of therapy and lots of prayer and lots of spiritual and spiritual support from my family and my spiritual friends, I was able to manage. But for a while, Jeff, I just did not. I think I was operating, when I look back at it, in a shock. Like, just we I was just like just in this robotic mode. So, but prayer and therapy is what definitely got me through.
Prayer and therapy.
Yeah.
So, would you say you consider those two things the same kind of thing, or would you consider prayer being completely different than therapy, or how would you compare the two of those?
Ooh, that's an awesome question. So for me, I would say that they're separate and apart. So when I pray, I'm leaning on my faith, on my higher power.
Separate and apart. So you just completely didn't answer the question.
I'm gonna unpack that. Give me a second. So when I pray, for me, when I pray, I'm entering into a space that I'm asking my creator to open up the windows, open up the doors, open up the window of my heart and my mind, right? And for me, when I prayed and I relied on my creator to show me the way, my way was therapy. You see how that, like, I prayed and I asked him,
Yeah.
like, you have to help me, like I cannot overcome this obstacle without you. And I constantly, and I this is a journey, this is something I still do, I constantly ask and pray that he keeps the eyes of my heart and my ears open to always receive what it is that he has for me, because oftentimes I'm thinking it's going to look like X, but my higher power is like, you don't know what it is. So you need to remain open. So that's what I mean. I prayed and then therapy came along. And Jeff, I'm telling you, my therapist that I had at the Houston Area Women's Center, and even the therapist that I have today, like, I absolutely would not be where I am without the therapy. And of course, like, prayer is like just a no brainer for me in my world.
Wow, that's pretty amazing that you have gone through all this and you still have a smile on your face. That's what I believe that everybody needs to reach, and that everybody needs to get to the position where they can have a smile on their face. So did you, during your whole domestic violence thing and your homelessness, did you lose your smile?
Oh yes, I literally and figuratively. So literally, I mean, so the at the point that I realized that the abuse was getting worse and that my life was in danger, my ex hit me in the face with my laptop and knocked my teeth loose. Right. So for about a year, I mean, about a month, I had braces on at the time. So that's by God's grace the reason why my teeth, like my braces held my teeth together and they mended back together. So for about a month and a half, my face, this side of my face, and my smile is still a little crooked, was swollen. And definitely internally, oh yeah, my smile was gone, Jeff. I mean, it was depleted. My smile, my weight, everything,
Well,
everything.
I am so glad you got that smile back because it is a magnificent smile. And I am glad you are showing it to me and everybody on this podcast, call, whatever you want to call it. But we thank you so much. And first of all, I just want to tell you thank you for being here this evening. This isn't the end. I'm not signing off or anything, but thank you for taking the time out of your busy evening to be here with me and my people. But I don't have this open on my phone, so I can't see who's here and not here. But I would like to say hi to Ben Bruce Chris Jr., who's watching us from Nigeria. And then I also have to say hi to Robert Brown. And I hope you are enjoying this. He says, how you start doesn't determine our future. So remember that, guys. I just want to say that because that's so important. But if you had, say, 5 ways or 3 ways or however many you want to do, if you had a certain number of ways to help somebody get past what they're dealing with and help them get back up, what would you tell them to do?
Mm, beautiful question. So the first thing that I would say is forgive yourself for whatever it is that you're facing, right? So I'm gonna approach this from a domestic violence trauma and trauma standpoint. Anytime we I feel like based on, and I'm not a therapist or anything like that, Jeff, so I'm just based like straight up like you said, like just sharing what I've been through in
Yeah,
an
we,
effort.
we're not medical professionals on this show. We don't even pretend to be. We just want to express how we helped ourselves and other people helped us, so that maybe we can help somebody else reach their happiness.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So whatever it is that you're facing, I don't care if it's divorce, loss of a loved one, domestic violence, molestation, forgive yourself. What I realized is I forgave the people that had caused me harm, but for a long time I had not forgiven myself. So I would say forgive yourself for the things that you think that you should have done or the things that you did and didn't want to do. Just forgive yourself and understand that if your creator, the universe, the higher power, whatever it is that you do or do not believe in, wakes you up the next day, that is the first day of your brand new not life if you decide to. We have to make the decision. So forgive yourself, make the decision to start the day a new day. And I absolutely love your make every second count.
Yes, thank you. I'm so glad to hear that.
Because here's the reality is that every second does count, because every day that we're living, we're a heartbeat away from transitioning out of here.
Yeah.
And,
So
and I
true.
think oftentimes if we understand and lean into that and accept that, we'll love the people that we love. We'll eat the cake if we want to eat the cake. We'll
eat,
forgive. I mean, we'll just live this life of
eat the
abundance and
cake.
eat the cake.
Yeah, that's great. Eat the cake.
So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you actually did. So do you have other ways? I mean, we were talking and you said forgive yourself. Now, I'm sorry, I might have missed it, but do you have other ways that can help people?
So oftentimes, especially Jeff, in the Black community, we have a big stigma around therapy in mental health conditions. And what I would offer to anyone, especially my community, is if you're carrying trauma or if you're carrying sadness and you're carrying depression, it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to seek therapy.
It's okay not to be okay.
It's okay, right? It's okay. So I would definitely say if you've experienced any type of trauma, I don't care what it is, any kind of loss, lean into the people that are trained to help you unpack that hurt, the trauma, the disappointment, so that you can start to live your life in abundance that we should live. Because we only have one life to live. And I think I've seen this on social media, Jeff. And if we live a life, if we live life right, that's all we need is one time.
Yeah.
Right. So I would definitely offer therapy. I would definitely offer leaning into the reality of we're all a heartbeat away from transitioning out of here.
Yeah.
And your speaker, I know you've heard this before. Is like, what is everybody going to have on our gravestones when we pass?
Yeah.
Right. The day we were born and the day that we transition out of here. Where are we at right now? We're in the dash. We're in the dash, Jeff. Yeah. So I would offer anyone that's listening in your tribe or my tribe is that we remember that we are in the dash. And we absolutely have to make every second count.
Dash.
In the dash.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, I think it's Dr. Les Brown, who isn't really a doctor, but I'll refer to him as Dr. Les Brown.
He just received his honorary doctorate. So
really?
Yes.
All right. Well, I was kind of right then. Kind of not right too, though. But because I didn't know. But he says that the richest place on earth is the graveyard, because there are so many people that take all their dreams, all their hopes, all their ambitions, songs they didn't write, books they didn't write. They take them all to the grave, because we have to use up all those things in our one life. That it's so important that we realize we only get that one, and you have to live it to your fullest.
And like you mentioned earlier, Jeff, like life will show up, right? And life is like a man with a big old pair of boots. It will kick us in the hind end at times, right? But we have to understand we're going through it, and we just keep going, that we'll get to the other side, but we just have to keep going. Oftentimes we get stuck, right? Because of rejection or because of hurt. And I think, but just based on my personal experience with my mom, for example, I lost her when she was 47 years old of cancer. And a lot of who I am today is who she was and who she could have been had she lived longer. Well, I recognize is that she is in the grave. She is one of those ones that when Dr. Les Brown talks about the graveyard and the ideas and the books and the lives she could have changed, that you're talking about my mother, right? And what I know to be certain is that she became stuck in her life because of the things that she was carrying, that had she got the help that she needed and deserved, she could have unpacked it despite it happening and pushing through. So that's why I'm so grateful to be on your platform and other podcasts and inspirational speaking um, platforms. It's because, like you said, it's just us sharing our journey. We're
Yeah.
not professing to be anything other than crazy enough to not give up. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And let me show you, like, what has held me back in life. And this is not only for you, Jamie, but it's for everybody out there. So, that picture is my car when I was 17 years old. And I was sitting right there in that driver's seat. They had to use the jaws of life to get me out. And I would spend the next 2.5 months in a coma and 3.5 months in the hospital. I had a broken neck, a fractured jaw, two fractured ribs, a punctured lung, and a ruptured spleen. I all those injuries can be deadly by themselves, but I had them all. But that's not even my worst injury. My worst injury was a traumatic brain injury. And I know that you have talked about trauma on here. And trauma can be a huge thing in someone's life. It can hold them back or hold them down and not let them get back up. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can get back up. Look, when I was in the hospital, my it was close to the end of my hospital stay, but I was still in a wheelchair predominantly. And my therapist came down to my room and he got me, which was normal. And he pushed me down in the wheelchair to a little room that had padding all over the floors and walls. And I was like, uh-oh, what do I do now? But he told me, all right, get down on the floor, Jeff. And I was like, all right, this is therapy, no problem. I can do that. So I went ahead and got down onto the floor. And then he walked out. I'm like, oh crap. But he came back in pushing a walker. And when he brought the walker over, he took the wheelchair away. And he says, all right, Jeff, get up. I'm not going to help you, but get up. And me being me, I just thought, hey, no problem. I'll get back up. It's not an issue. But it surprised me because I struggled and struggled and struggled over and over and over again. And I finally was able to get back up on my own. And I looked at him and said, Sean, why'd you make me do this? He says, I can't rightly send you home with the walker because I know you are going to fall. And I want to make sure that you can get back up. And that is one of the points of this show, helping people get back up in life. Realize that what they've gone through doesn't have to hold them back. Where they started doesn't have to determine their future. That they can live their best life no matter what they have gone through. And it's just so important to me. So, Jamie, is there any contact information if people want to get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So I'm on all social media platforms as Jamie, JAMIE, Wright. And that's Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. I even have a TikTok, Jeff.
I
On
I
the
do,
TikTok, brother.
wow, I do too. I'm gonna have to find you now.
Yes, and I also have a website. It's www.jamierwright.com. And I would be remiss not to just, end on this note, Jeff. If there's anyone out there watching that might be experiencing domestic violence, right? Either the survivor or even the person causing the abuse, know that there is another way. Know that you're not alone and there's a help available. There's a beautiful program with the aid to victims against domestic violence for people that cause abuse. It's a battery intervention program, and there's definitely always the National Domestic Violence Hotline. You all, let's end violence, not just domestic violence, but violence. We're all under this pressure cooker. The
Yeah.
pandemic has done a lot to a lot of us.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, let's get the help so we can live this abundant life and have joy and laughter and smiles and dancing. You had your Google music playing earlier. I was like, yeah, set the atmosphere, Jeff. I love it.
That is phenomenal. I have to say, thank you again. I know that you're busy, I'm busy, and we make time for this. And I've been doing this show for over 4 years now, and I love it. You know, at the end of October, it will be 5 years, and that is pretty darn awesome. But I want to say hi to Ember Hughes, hi to Adam, who is Ember is from Kansas City, and Adam is from England or the UK, but I'm not real sure. But we thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this show. And don't forget that you can watch us every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And until next time, you guys have to do me a favor, including you, Jamie. You have to remember to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when the seconds are going to run out on your one life. Hey, you guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you again, Jamie.
Thank you, Jeff.